sufficient time.
A new lawsuit claims Spokane County is overloading public defenders and failing to meet state standards for legal representation. What the suit alleges and how county leaders are responding.
Thunderstorms continue in parts of North Idaho for the remainder of Wednesday evening, but don't worry, sunshine and above average temperatures continue for Thursday and into Mother's Day weekend.
And we sat down with the sister of a Stevens County deputy who was shot and wounded at a standoff in Suncrest last week. Everything we know about his recovery ahead. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the night report here on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. A new lawsuit filed in Pend Oreille County claims Spokane County is leaving public defenders' attorneys overworked and clients without enough time for their defense. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy explains what the suit alleges and how county leaders are responding.
Anytime someone's charged with a crime, attorney Toby Marshall says the work public defenders do to take on that case can take time.
That lawyer is not supposed to just be a warm body. They're supposed to be someone that really provides effective assistance of counsel.
That's why in January, the Washington State Supreme Court rolled out dramatic new limits on how many cases public defenders can take on. The order says felony attorneys will see a 70% reduction and a 60% caseload reduction for misdemeanor attorneys. Counties don't have to meet the new limits all at once. They can phase them in by chipping away at their caseloads a little each year, with full compliance expected within 10 years. But a lawsuit filed out of Pend Oreille County by Victoria Bloomhorst and Colin Charbonneau, two public defenders and leaders of public defense in Spokane County, argues the county is overworking them and many others.
The standards that Spokane County has set would not provide sufficient time to give quality representation to every client.
Marshall says one example is how long a public defender can work on a case for a client facing life without parole. Right now, the Washington State Bar Association allocates 120 hours for that type of case, with plans to increase that number over time. For those cases in Spokane and surrounding areas,
the county wants to only give 44 hours to that case. So less than a third of the time that the state Supreme Court has said is appropriate, that the State Bar Association has said is appropriate. The county's trying to cut that time down.
The chair of the Spokane County Commissioners, Mary Brooks, released a statement in response to the lawsuit, saying in part, "What is in dispute is who has the legal authority to set caseload standards and whether two county employees can override a legislative decision by suing their employer in a foreign county. We will not be deterred from governing responsibly by a lawsuit that mischaracterizes the law and the duties of county employees." For now, Marshall hopes the solution can be made in the near future, hoping to ease the stress for both public defenders and their clients.
If that time can't be provided, that person is not getting the constitutional right that's guaranteed to them. They're giving up their families to try and ensure that the people they represent are getting all of the attention that they need.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
It's time to talk weather now. Our Regan Gallo joining us from our Outdoor Weather Center. And Regan, I know it's been a nice few days, but you were tracking some thunderstorms. Are we still watching those tonight?
Yes, Sydney, we are still watching those thunderstorms in parts of North Idaho, as well as some parts of Northeast Washington, too. However, right now in Spokane on the South Hill, where our weather center is, I actually took my sweater off because I had it on and I said, actually, it's still pretty warm outside tonight. A little bit of a breeze. We had some cloud coverage for our evening today, which we've had blue skies most of the week. A little cloud coverage, but that sunshine is going to continue for the Spokane Coeur d'Alene area throughout this weekend and through Thursday tomorrow. But yes, we do see some thunderstorms in Northeast Idaho. I want to show that here really quickly though. 65 degrees right now. It was about 75 degrees earlier this afternoon, so we've dropped about 10 degrees since I started my shift here today at KREM 2. Okay, satellite radar, this is what I want to show off. So parts of Sandpoint, East Hope, Clark Fork, and going into Troy, Montana, and different parts of western Montana, that's where we're seeing those thunderstorms, chances of lightning, and a little bit of an increase in wind gusts. So I'll continue to talk about this in my upcoming full forecast.
New details tonight about a situation that prompted Rathdrum's mayor to resign. KREM 2 learned through a Rathdrum police report that Mayor Mike Hill is suspected of domestic battery against his wife, though the key allegations against him were redacted in that report. The report does show that the couple's adult son called the police on Saturday to report a domestic dispute. Police say Hill left the home and his wife declined medical attention and did not want to press charges. He'll step down as mayor the next day, and the city council president will serve until an official appointment is made.
The most important thing for people to know is that the staff of the city of Rathdrum are totally dedicated to providing the services that the Rathdrum citizens expect.
The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office is investigating the domestic battery, and Rathdrum City Council will meet at May 27th's regular meeting to discuss next steps. Tonight, we are hearing from the family of the Stevens County deputy shot in the line of duty last week. The deputy's name is Travis Feldner, and he's now at home recovering, surrounded by loved ones. KREM 2's Christian Garza spoke with his sister and brings us their story tonight.
Law enforcement's kind of the thing in our family.
A family of first responders across the inland Northwest.
You know, we're always out looking to help other people.
Are now the ones in need of help after a standoff in Suncrest left Stevens County Deputy Travis Feldner in the hospital.
Love my sister-in-law to death, but we don't really communicate a lot. It's always through Travis. You know, we're both so busy. And I was sitting at my desk and I seen my phone ring and her name came up. And to me, that only means one thing. I answered the phone. I said, "Hello, is he alive?"
Feldner was shot 2 times in the upper chest and shoulder, responding to a break-in.
And Trav said he honestly, when he was shot and he knew he was bleeding, he didn't know if he was going to ever see any of us again.
Feldner's sister Trish Robinson tells me during a break while on duty that sacrificing your life for your community is a harsh reality her family knows all too well.
I'm glad that my mom has already passed on, because I would never want her to go through this twice.
Feldner's older brother, Ronald, was killed while on duty after being shot twice by a 14-year-old boy.
He killed him instantly. He did pierce the bottom of his heart.
Now, over 3 decades later, Feldner's family is revisiting that trauma, but say that they're relieved that it's not the same outcome.
The little PTSD kicked in because you just don't know what mode you're going to be in. You know, are we going to be planning a funeral, or are we going to be planning his life from here forward to help him out?
After the shooting, Feldner was rushed into surgery where doctors stopped a bleeding artery and left both bullets inside of him to avoid causing any more damage.
I mean, I am so proud of what he did. He was able to protect his partners that were with him.
I had the chance to speak with Feldner over the phone, and he says that he's very grateful for the community's support during this time, even though it's not clear what the road to recovery looks like for him.
It just shows you that people are still people and they still care.
A quick conversation in between calls for a first responder's family to say thank you for making sure that this protector is protected.
It kind of relieves the pressure, I guess, a little bit, just knowing that he's got all this love and support.
In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
The Washington Supreme Court paused a new state law that created new standards for sheriffs until a legal challenge plays out. So last week, a Thurston County judge partially blocked the new law after 4 Eastern Washington sheriffs sued. Yesterday, the High Court denied the state's request to let the law remain in effect amid this lawsuit. The main point of contention is a provision that allows elected sheriffs to be removed from office by an unelected state commission. The ruling comes in time for candidates who intend to run for sheriff in the November election to file without having to meet the requirements of this new law. A Washington man is facing charges after his van exploded near a police precinct in Everett. He's expected in court tomorrow. Police say the 35-year-old man allegedly set a fire inside the van Tuesday night and then sealed it up, causing it to explode right next to a police station. No one was hurt in this incident. The suspect is being held on $100,000 in bond. Our Seattle sister station obtained video of a fight inside a state prison that helped change a Washington state policy. We do want to warn you, some of you may find this hard to watch. The incident happened in September of 2024 at the Washington Correction Center for Women in Gig Harbor. Jordan Broussard, who was serving a sentence for kidnapping, can be seen swinging at correctional officers who then tackle her. Then she's sprayed with pepper spray at close range. State policy says those canisters must be more than 3 feet away from offenders when they're in use.
You know, we pride ourselves in operating a safe and humane correction system. Those are our values. And I don't think that what you saw in that video lived up to our values, and it certainly was not consistent with the way we train staff or our use of force policies.
So that was Tim Lang, the Washington Secretary of the Department of Corrections. The officers who used the pepper spray received training and counseling following an internal investigation. But Lang, who you just heard from, says that since that incident, all use of force investigations from that facility go through the department's headquarters. A rare fin whale died near Bellingham after becoming stranded on a gravel beach. Officials say it was alive when it was found Monday night, but died yesterday morning before help could arrive. It's more than 60 feet long and estimated to weigh about 80,000 pounds. Fin whale strandings are rare in Washington, with just a dozen others reported since the 80s.
It looked in very poor condition, malnourished, very thin, but it also had signs of a recent killer whale attack and also signs of having been entangled recently. So it had maybe had a rough time.
Fin whales are the second largest animals on Earth, behind only blue whales. Researchers do not believe this is connected to the recent gray whale strandings on Washington beaches. Stay with us. A lot more to cover here on the Night Report. More than 12,000 new images from the recent Artemis II mission were just released. We've got a look at the Earth from the stars. And a federal judge unsealed an alleged suicide note linked to Jeffrey Epstein. The details from a former cellmate who says he found the note. That's in just 90 seconds.